What's up, you guys? It's your girl Megan James, and you're now tuned into the Hollywood Group Chat podcast, period. And I have a very special guest today. She goes by Astro Amber, y'all. This is my homegirl. I met her at a Conjure Academy from the Hood Healer. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Hood Healer, but she's an amazing woman, and she's like a spiritualist. And I met my spiritual soul sister at the class. So today we're going to be talking about like spirituality and natal charts and just everything spiritual. So Amber, just give us a little background on yourself. Like, how did you get into like the spirituality stuff? Like,
okay, so I've been spiritual pretty much all my life. I grew up Catholic, then we switched to Baptist AME, and I'm just to be real, like going to church and listening to the word. Like I read the Bible, I teach my kids about God or whatever, but it never made me want to be a better person. Like I would go to church and still do whatever I would do throughout the week in college, and once I was like, this just not working for me. But I knew I didn't want to be Muslim because my stepdad was in prison, and I'm like,
You was like, because they be fake Muslims.
They be fake Muslims. So I was like, let me just dive into what I think is for me and what I used to see like growing up, and yeah, it took off from there. Like high school, I used to practice cards and stuff like without telling anyone because like it's like to be a witch a little weird, and it just wasn't really common. But once I really discovered I had a gift and I knew what I was talking about, I was like, okay. And my uncle passed away, but he was younger, like a brother, so that really kind of motivated me to turn it into like a business because it's more of like my purpose once I got into my chart and I realized like, okay, I'm really supposed to be doing something of occult, something of spirituality. So that's when I just said, let me create social media and really get into it.
With that being said, I remember when I first met you, we had got a conversation, and you was telling me that like you grew up into the occult, right? For me, like I wouldn't call myself like a self-proclaimed witch. Like I feel like I'm just a spiritual person. Like I'm not like a Christian, Catholic, Muslim. Like I believe in God, right?
Right.
Which a lot of spiritualists do believe in God. But I also believe that there are different gods. In the Christian faith, like everybody's like, oh, there's only one God, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe in that because it's just like, is it wrong for the Chinese people to praise Buddha?
Right.
No. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's bad that you call yourself a self-proclaimed witch because I call myself a witch.
No, I don't. I don't think I'm that good yet.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay. So I am a witch. I'm a proud witch. My kids will tell you their mom's a witch. My baby daddy will say, stop telling people that shit. Like, yeah, it's me. I feel like I am a witch because a witch is a person who does magical things. And I do magical things, and I come up a little different, like a little hood.
Tell us about your grandma, because that's how you told me.
Right. So my great grandma was really into it, but she never said, hey, this is what I'm doing. So, like, I remember I would walk in the kitchen and I would see, like, a candle with a plate and another candle. And I'm like, what the hell? Or I would come in and I would see, like, a wine glass flipped over on a plate and a candle on top of it. And I'm like, what? And she would always say, like, well, you'll understand. So as I got older and I started to do, like, my own research and ask, because I have cousins who are, that's on my mom's side, but I have cousins, my favorite cousin actually on my dad's side, she's more into Ifa. So she has like her hand in, she's full in, but for me, it was just like a learning experience. I just always knew. But once I got older, like I said, and I would take like courses or look into like elders, because I only learn from like elders. Like a lot of these people on Instagram, I'm not gonna name them, but they're finesse, because they'll say, oh, I have a tarot class, or I have a hoodoo course, and blah blah blah. And me, I'm just curious, so
you'll just take it just
I'm gonna take it just to see if you know what you're talking about. And my thing is, I go with where spirit leads me. And a lot of those situations were just more to like meet people than to learn, because one was fucking people up. Like, you teaching people always on my mind spells, you teaching people a lot of shit that's not to be played with. So I have like different spiritual sisters who will follow this, and a few months later, they shit fucked up. And it's like, you can't just do what you see online. You can't just do what somebody tell you to do. Like, you have to know, or I feel like spirituality is more of a calling. So like elders like Magical Lady Duchess, who's in Texas, or a elder like who's into EFI, is like, I learn from like older people. If I have a question or feel like I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna go to an elder. But me, it's just more of like, I just know, I just connect. Like, I'm more of a like, I'm gonna show you better than I could tell you.
So for me, like how I got into spirituality is because like I grew up in a family where I never had to go to church. You know how like I grew up with my grandparents. My mama never made, I call my mom because basically she was. But she never made me go to church. Like, she never, like, bitch, get up, put on your Sunday's best to go to church. She was like Madea from the fucking Madea's Family Reunion. She walked around with a gun in her bag, and ain't nobody fucked with her. And everybody knew she ain't play about me. That was my granny. So I got into college. Yeah, I mean, I got into church when I went to college because I went to University of Houston. Right next to U of H is Willard Avenue Baptist Church. So I would just be at school, like, stressed the fuck out, not knowing this or that. And all my friends, it was like a thing for us to go to church on Sundays. Like, it became like a social gathering. So it's like, shit, I'm gonna go to church. Fuck it. Like, everybody else going, I'm going to church. So I started going to church on like every Sunday, and like I really got into like the Christian word and started going to church, right? Then after I graduated college, I noticed that like a lot of Christian pastors and stuff, they was like, they were cheating on their wives. I used to go to what's that white guy, Joel Osteen's church, and I was a super fan of John Gray. I was a super fan of John Gray. And like, he is the reason that I would go to Joel Osteen every Sunday. Girl, John Gray got caught cheating on his wife 15 million gazillion bumpkin times. And I'm like, bro, like, you're not a person of Christ, right? And then another thing about like Jesus Christ, because I believe in God, I do believe in Jesus, and I feel like Jesus was an entity, but like I don't feel like Jesus is God. I don't know if that's gonna send me to hell. I don't feel like that. But
I don't think it's gonna send
like,
me
I used to go through a lot of shit. Like, I've been through a lot of shit in my life where I will always call on God, right?
And did God show up for you?
And I feel like God, everybody that I used to talk to that are so like into Christianity would be like, Jesus always talks to me. God talks to me. God speaks to me. Girl, God never spoke to me in like my times of like trial and tribulation.
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't feel like God ever spoke to me either.
Yeah, I never felt like God ever spoke to me.
I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I think it's more of like
Casey, my friend Casey over there talking about girl, because he's the average church. He is the average church.
My thing is, okay, so I don't feel like God has ever spoken to me because I grew up in church. So when I was a little girl, I grew up Catholic, all the way from make your first communion to we going to the classes to I'm doing everything. Like, my grandma and my auntie them didn't play. Yeah. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't like going to Catholic mass, listening to the opera singing, Father,
it was just
like, Father messing with the boy. It just never connected.
But the thing about the occult, though, what I will say is, like, ever since I was a kid, I've always been drawn into like weird shit, like witches and warlocks and Harry Potter, and ever since I was a kid.
So what have you practiced?
I have, like, I call it manifestation. I know that's the white people word for conjure or whatever. But I am a living witness of the things that you think about the most, you bring into your life. And that you call that manifestation. So if I set an intention or if I set a thought in my head for anything, I know that I'm able to manifest that. Right. But I just recently learned in Imani's class that manifestation and conjure is the same thing. And like, I'm one of those people that I like to be in control of the outcome. I feel like with Christianity and typical religions, it's like you leave it up to God, and God is in control of your situation. I don't want nobody to be in control of my situation but me. And if I feel like with the occult, I can control something that's going on in my life, I'm going to do that.
Okay, so do you know that, okay, you can control certain things, but do you know there's good and bad in everything? Yeah. So with the occult, you can control it, but if you want to control it as you're speaking, you have to become dark. So you have to do this. Yeah, you have to tap into dark magic. Because see, when I say I'm a witch, I say I'm a white witch. Because just as you, I'm going to manifest. I'm going to dress my candles. I'm going to take my baths. But I'm going to get what I need. Mm-hmm. So when I say I'm gonna manifest, like I moved from Florida to Georgia, suspended license, but I did what I need to do. I did a uncrossing and I successfully completed my trip. When I got
but you knew in your head though that like I can do this, right?
Right.
Did you feel like in control of that situation? You was like, I'm going to Georgia no matter what. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I'm about to do this uncrossing. It's about to work, and this is gonna work out for me.
Right, but when you do an uncrossing, you have to remember in spirituality, when you take, you have to give. Mm-hmm. So you seen in movies like when people try to control or change what go on. Like I don't remember what movie it was, but when she did something, the man's nose started bleeding. Mm-hmm. Like you have to remember, like. So you can't just say, oh, I'm trying to control this or change this or alter this, and you ain't giving nothing.
Right.
So you have to give
a I didn't get into let me get into it, girl. When I lived in LA, I had me an altar, a prayer, like, you know how the old people call it a prayer room or a prayer closet? I had my altar. I had, family members that had passed on my altar. I had my candles on there. Like, I used to put, spare change on there, perfume, flowers. Now, I could have kept better upkeep of my altar, but I am busy. But I did have an altar. Like, I have really, I'm one of those people that will do research. You tell me something, or if I want to know something, I'm not going to half-ass anything that I do. So it's like, I try to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I was telling you, I'm a bit impatient, and I just feel like I never spoke to God, I feel like I was never able to speak to my ancestors either. So I just chunked it up to manifestation. It's just that's one thing I do know how to do, is keep my mind on a certain thing and bring that into my life.
So when you say manifestation, because you have to remember, how are you getting it? Who are you asking for?
The universe.
So what in return are you giving to the universe?
I feel like how Imani said, you have to build up your karmic debt. Mm-hmm. Like when I do give backs and giveaways and do nice shit for people, I'm filling up my karmic bank.
Right.
Because I'm a person that believes in what you put into the universe, you get back. So I try to be a good person, and I feel like when you're trying to be a good person, you willfully, freely help people.
You just have to be careful when trying to connect, because if you don't give yourself enough time to see if because you say you feel like you never connected with your ancestors, you have to give it time. Mm-hmm. Because you have to ensure the connection, because you have to know who you asking and what you asking for. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, or you have to take time and work with certain spirits or certain things. Like, okay, I grew up Catholic, so I work with St. Clair a lot. Mm-hmm. I work with St. Clair because I need a lot of clarity. Mm-hmm. I'm a Capricorn, so ruled by Saturn, it's a lot of karma, it's a lot of responsibility. I have to stay structured. So even when I do work with her, it's just I still have to candles, offerings, you still have to. So manifestation is good and it does work. Just give back to more than just your karmic bank. So give back to nature, give back to yourself, give back to you just have to be careful, because when
you're gonna have to teach me.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell us about your services. So who is Astro Amber?
Okay, so Astro Amber, I do readings, general love. Right now it's heavy on natal charts, and I think natal charts are so heavy because more people are waking up and they want to learn more about themselves and who they are and their purpose this lifetime. So I do offer natal charts, I do offer candles, baths. But you have to keep in mind, when you come to Astro Amber, I'm a light witch. So don't come to me asking
for no fucking love spell.
No bullshit. I'm not hurting nobody. Now, I can refer you to some bad bitches, but don't ask me to hurt a motherfucker. Don't ask me to bind you. Don't ask me to put you in love with nobody, because all of those things are of trickery and I'm of love and light. Mm-hmm. So get you some money, get you some peace, help you with some structure, natal chart if you have kids, or figure out who you are or your purpose or where you big at, or where your Jupiter is. We were talking about, just figure out the better, greater you.
Okay, so I know that you brought your Oracle deck with us today, and those who don't know, Oracle decks and Tarot decks are totally different. Yes. I need you to explain us in a short term.
Okay, so real
what the difference
quick,
is.
Tarot decks are standard. Tarot decks are similar to playing cards. So just as if you playing spades or if you playing tongue, you got one deck that has the same suit of hearts, diamonds, boom. Mm-hmm. Tarot is the same. So you have your cups, your pentacles, swords, wands, depending, same thing. But with tarot, it's not really so easy easy because you have to learn the meaning of the card.
Right.
And then you have major arcana, minor arcana, versus with oracle cards, it's more of like the creator who created it, the message on it is more of like spirit-led,
Ooh, you should come out with oracle
spirit-wise.
cards. That would be cute.
Yeah,
Astro
I
Amber
should
oracle.
build my own oracle cards, but bitch, I got so much shit going on. We'll get to it. Okay, I might do some oracle cards. But oracle cards are more of like, for example, this deck is like the Everyday Witch Oracle. So you have different cards, like, we'll just shuffle and see what come out real quick. Just a little oracle. So
y'all, she gonna give us a reading for the collective.
Girl, okay.
Ooh, it's that one.
Okay, so the reading for the collective, this one is strength and resilience and ground and center.
Period.
And I think that's perfect for us right now with the podcast because it's all, you talk about manifestation and resilience and how to control your destiny and get what you want. That's what strength and resilience is about. But grounding and centering is more of what I feel like I'm talking about with getting back and being patient and understanding your purpose and learning what you're doing and not just jumping into shit. Because even though Megan manifests and it works out perfect for her, everybody's not Megan.
Yeah.
And everybody have to understand who they are first and their purpose and what they're called to do. So that's why I feel like a natal chart reading will help with. But for the oracle cards that we pull, the strength and resilience and the ground and center, I think that's lit for you. Lit energy, especially because you know you have a lot of haters and shit and we ain't get no bullshit. So y'all let my girl manifest. But
okay, friend. Well, it wasn't that bad, was it?
It wasn't.
Okay, so tell everybody where they can find you, all your social medias, the services you provide, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Period. Okay, so you guys can find me. You guys can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Astro Amber _ I have a website, astroamber.com right now. If you go to it, it'll show my launching page, but give me like 2 more weeks and it should be done. I offer readings, natal chart readings for yourself, your children, if you have children. We can do candles, baths, whether you want to cleanse your aura, draw yourself some money, stabilize your mind, strengthen your aura or whatnot. But yeah.
Period, you guys. Y'all heard it first from the Hollywood Group Chat podcast featuring my boo, Astro Amber, and that is a wrap.
That's